Well, good morning, Jim. A pleasure to have you at our GOLDINVEST interview. You're the major investor and have been involved in Tennant Minerals for a long time. And finally, it looks like you're getting rewarded with a major discovery, a copper gold discovery in the heart of Australia, a brownfield discovery that we're going to talk about. But before we go to the project, I really would appreciate if you could give a little bit of a flavor and of color about you as a person and how you got involved in this.
I guess the white hair probably says something about my age. I've been involved in the resources industry for over 40 years. Going back to the late, well, probably the early 80s, the late 70s, and a couple of companies that I floated, for instance, that you might have heard of. We floated Aquarius Exploration, which became Aquarius Platinum. In the early 90s, we live floated Tiger Resources, which went into the Congo, and ultimately I sold out of Tiger as I had of Aquarius. But if you like, historically, I've taken companies, either floated them or taken moribund companies that are literally have been thrown off the exchange because they have no money, or they've and revitalised them by introducing capital, introducing good projects, introducing good people, and in a way, and I've done that for many years. My background is I started life as a corporate lawyer, but I've been now involved in the mining industry for about 40 years. Now, when we look at the current company, Tennant Minerals. Tennant Minerals was a company called Blina Resources, and Blina Resources essentially didn't have a lot of money. They were looking for a project. I put in a partial interest in this project, but they were going nowhere, and they were suspended from the exchange. And was suspended for a period of time. So I then became involved, raised the money, did all the work to have them relisted, put this project into it 100% because I really believed in this project. And now we look as though, well, we've made a discovery and it's looking very, very good.
Yes.
The Bluebird prospect, where we've had a great deal of success with our drilling, including some amazing intersections. For instance, we had a 50-metre intersection of 2.7% copper and half a gram of gold. And there's been a number of other very, very good intersections, is only part of the story. Essentially, as you can see, Bluebird sits here, and it's in close proximity to a number of other substantial mines in the area. Noble's Knob and Pico, and we'll come back to those later, are both amazing producers. But the Bluebird prospect sits on this long gravity trend where you can see my cursor is going, and that is a gravity high. And when we model that, you can actually see where Bluebird sits on this trend. Now, we then take the magnetics, the geophysics over this, and we identify a number of other targets. And you can see one here and one here and one here and one here, and on it goes. And Bluebird is only one of those targets out of 13 that we've identified so far. There they all are, circled in black. And Bluebird itself is not the biggest of those, but it's the only one that has been drilled so far. The reason they haven't been found in the past is that they sit 50, 60 metres below ground level, and in the past, nobody has discovered them. Bluebird was almost discovered by accident because one drill hole managed to just clip the top of it. And since then, we've been following it down and the results are getting better and better. There's what we intend doing, and we're starting shortly after Easter, is to continue our drilling at Bluebird, and hopefully we'll have the same sort of success that we've had up till now. But we also want to test some of these other targets, some of which are actually bigger than Bluebird itself in terms of being a target. And we could well find 1, 2 or 3 or more of these. We don't know, but that's what we hope to do. So it's part of a much bigger picture.
I understand this is it's a brownfield area. There's pre-existing mines there, high grade copper and combination of copper and gold. So in that regard, it is logical that Bluebird also shows the same earmarks, so to speak, as those other properties. But in a way, you would say you found the key to unlocking maybe the entire area and make it not just one, let's say, one single potentially a really also large tonnage project down the road. Of course, there's a lot of exploration that's now needing to be done.
That's right. I mean, the situation is in previous times, in older times, prospectors would walk across the ground, and if there was something poking out of the ground, so to speak, rocks poking out of the ground, they would chip those rocks and see what they contain, be it gold, be it gold or be it copper or something else. I can repeat that if you want to cut it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Just go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, they wouldn't have found the Bluebird or any of these other targets. Now, with modern geophysics that are available, powerful geophysical tools such as gravity, such as magnetics, such as downhole electromagnetics, one can explore below the surface before one drills it to define targets. And that is precisely what we're doing. Okay. We have identified a gravity ridge that's 5 kilometres long on which Bluebird sits. Bluebird sits below the surface, and it was just luckily discovered. And as we drill it, it's getting better. And we have a discovery on our hands. Now, that's not to say that some of these other targets, which are similar in nature to Bluebird that have been outlined, may not also be discoveries. They may not, but they certainly have the same geophysical characteristics as Bluebird to make them very, very attractive drill targets.
Yes, okay. Jim, I think that sums it up pretty well. There is obviously enough money now to go for this next drill program. What's the scope of it again, just in terms of metering?
Well, yeah, we announced that we were going to drill, I think it's 6 holes, maybe 7 holes, for about 1,500 metres of diamond drilling. And the situation was that we had the money to pay for that. And but since we have announced that and booked, we've actually contracted the drilling rig. We have gone into a trading halt this morning. seeking to raise $4.5 million, and literally within 2 hours of making it available, we've had demand far exceeding that amount, well over $10 million. Now, we are only going to take the $4.5 million, and that gives us enough money to more than double the size of this drilling program if we wish, and also to spend money, $1 million or so, testing some of those other targets, and at the same time having plenty of money left over. So it's put us in a very good position.
Yes. When you say testing, that would also already comprise drilling, or is it more?
It would, but what we also have done is that we have contracted a drone magnetic survey. That is a drone which will go up and down that 5 kilometres length and taking continuous readings in spacing about 25 metre apart lines, so that the magnetics that we have at the moment will be greatly enhanced. We'll have much more detail, which will make the targeting that much more precise to enable the drilling to be more precise on those targets. Now, that survey starts on Tuesday of next week, so within a matter of days. And that is also going ahead, and we should have the data from that was transmitted to our geophysical consultants on a daily basis, and they will be processing it, and that will take this picture that you're looking at the moment and make it much clearer and more targeted and more precise, and we'll then follow that up with drilling of the targets.
Well, makes perfect sense. I think we're looking forward to continuing this conversation and continuing to watching the development of Tennant Minerals. I think it's an exciting start, and well, it's certainly not an overnight success. You've been working towards this how many years now?
Oh, about 3 years.
About 3 years, and well, just following basically the initial sniffs of a discovery, now being rewarded with these great intercepts that seem to be continuous and growing down dip, just on Bluebird alone, which eventually could even be just a standalone, valuable as a standalone project. But seeing the bigger picture is even more exciting. Jim. Well, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we're looking for Bluebird to be a standalone mine. Anything else we find is obviously will enhance that.
Okay, thank you so much again, and we'll certainly circle back with the further advancement of the project. Looking forward to the development of Tennant Minerals.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Thank you very much for your time.